craziest person in your family?
My mother.
Ooh,
Oh.
this isn't going to be shown to them, is it?
She has reminded me for a very long time of Rosalind Russell
Yeah.
and Annie Mae.
Oh,
And to me, that's kind of a flattering thing. Crazy is not insane. It's not wackadoodle. It's just she has all kinds of ideas. She's not fettered and bound like a great many people are by consistently thinking inside the box. And she redecorates her house whenever the idea gets into her head, and she always has fantastic fun with it, and she always does it very nicely. So I would have to say that my mother is my wacky, crazy type muse, and sometimes I'd like to be a lot more like her.
I don't think I have.
I would have said him.
Yeah.
Technically,
Yeah.
I am part of your family now.
Yeah, it's gotta be. I can't come up with anyone who's crazy.
It's just like the song. It just might be a lunatic you're looking for.
Yeah, it's gotta be him. I can't come up with anyone else.
Why?
I'm trying to think if there was anyone else at any time. Boy, my brain is blank at this point.
There can be only one.
You.
What did you hate about school?
Oh, the teachers would never answer my questions. I had too many questions. If I'd had a laptop or a smartphone, I could have looked up all the answers to the questions that I had. That would have been wonderful.
I can't say that I ever hated anything about school. There were certain teachers that I had a hard time with every now and again. Sometimes the kids. I didn't care much for PE in my freshman year for the first couple of 3 months because somebody thought it was funny to put 4 freshman boys in with the senior varsity football players' PE class, and we got the wrong end of the stick quite often from them. But I took care of that problem. It's amazing what analgesic powder and their jockey shorts will do to change the equation. Myself and the other 4 freshman boys didn't linger for showers that day. We just scurried on to class. And I was almost in the classroom where I could hear a lot of yelling coming from the locker room. The football coach didn't think it was very funny. The vice principal thought it was hilarious. And he actually saved me because he put me into a PE class after that with nothing but freshmen.
When was your first kiss?
Wasn't the first time I held her hand.
Oh, you mean between the two of us?
I meant just the first.
Oh, my first.
You could also say when it was between you two as
I was 13.
well. Mother.
It was in a pool.
You started late.
Scandalous. Oh.
Was it in a pool?
Must have been memorable.
Yes, it was. And it was, let me
would've made
think
it
of
a
his
wet
name
kiss.
now. Oh my goodness. I can't think of his name now. Isn't that awful? I know who it is though. Anyway, yeah, that was my first kiss.
Did he kiss you or did you kiss him?
He kissed me.
Did you
Yeah.
kiss him back?
It was mutual. It was
Mutual, I'm sure.
We were in a square dance club called the Shooting Stars. And
Well, do-si-do.
I know, right? And we were at a pool party. Anyway, and that's what happened. Yep.
Mm.
Mm.
Mine happened at Johns Pond in Massachusetts on Cape Cod and Otis Air Force Base. I was a little bit more than 11 years old, and there were 2 girls, twins, whose family name was Brown.
Did you ever have to
And
make up your mind?
they wanted me to go out to the float that everybody was on, but it was over my head. I couldn't swim. They taught me how to swim. And then they taught me how to swim underwater and kiss underwater.
To say yes
And
to
I can't tell you the
love
difference between the two of them,
other
but I did get kissed twice underwater that day.
Wow.
That's awesome.
When was your first kiss between each other?
It was at your mom's house, and she was sitting in a chair, and I leaned down to kiss her. But that wasn't the first time I almost kissed her. That was at Nauvoo. And we'd gone for an Inman and Gleaners camp out, and she was sitting outside of the house where everybody was cooking, and I came walking in from the woods.
No,
And it
no,
just
no,
seemed
no,
like a great-
No. We went over to the amphitheater.
I gotta
over
give them the
there.
backstory.
No. We went to the amphitheater. We drove out there past the visitor center, and we were out there. We were walking along. We were looking at the river. Yes, it's the way. And he leans down to kiss me, and a bug flies up his nose.
That
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that was the end of the romantic moment.
At that point, all of the heat was gone, and I was just embarrassed. Because as
Ever.
you're trying to snort a bug out of your nose, kissing is not on your mind. But it did take me a while to work up the courage to attempt to kiss her again.
This is a two-parter. How many different places have you lived?
I think I counted one time, wasn't it like 49 or 39 or something like that? Okay, hang on a minute and I'll count. You might want to stop it. It's going to take me a minute. I think it's like 49. 49 different places.
For those who don't know, Mom and Dad were both raised in the Air Force, and then Dad went into the Air Force, so they spent most of their married life in the Air Force. So most of their life has been in the Air Force.
Yeah, and your dad can probably do more because of being on his mission and moving around on his mission.
Doesn't even count.
So, and then he was in Korea, and he went to Wake Island, and he went to all these different places. So he can probably claim more places than I can.
Upwards
but-
of 45.
Yeah.
All right, so 45 to 50 places.
Yeah.
Of all those places, which one was your favorite? And why?
Hands down, Hawaii.
Why?
Because we lived 2 blocks from the beach, and as often as I could escape, it was a surfboard on my shoulder, on my head, under my arm, popped into the canal, across the street, and down the beach, and I was surfing every opportunity I could get.
Hands down, which was my favorite? Wow. I'd have to say Monticello.
Why?
It was a great place to spend your high school years. It was awesome. I loved it. That was best. So without my children, my most favorite place to grow up would be Monticello, Illinois. With my children, with most of my children, I would have to say Washington. Washington, Illinois was my favorite. Yeah. That's really a hard question. That really is. I'd have to say Montana was my least favorite. I used to say that Montana was the armpit of the universe and Texas was the other armpit. The head was New Hampshire, New England, and the bottom was Guam.
That's kind of a crappy thing to say.
Yeah. I look back on Guam now and I think I see some good times. I can
We
see
had
some
an awful
really
lot
fun.
of very good friends there, and our oldest son has friends that he made there that he's still in contact with 20 plus years later.
But it was a hardship tour at the time. It was really rough to get through, but it was fun, and we got Katie from it. So, yeah.
As souvenirs go, she was pretty remarkable.
What happy memory will you cherish forever?
The day I married your dad.
Aww.
The day I met your dad. Wow, he's thinking hard.
The first Sunday after that. Because I walked in a little bit late to church, and the chapel doors were open, and I was looking around for a place to sit, and I saw her, and the space next to her on the bench wasn't taken, and I asked if I could sit there, and she patted it, and I sat down. Made me feel pretty darn special. And then when we broke from the chapel and went to the individual classrooms, again I walked in late to class, and it was tile floors with hard metal folding chairs, and seat was vacant there. There were 3 or 4 other vacant seats, but going upon what happened in the chapel, I asked if I could sit there, and she indicated that that was okay with her.
And the rest is history.